Today, on this day of our annual meeting, I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about the mission of UUCF. Yes, I am aware that today is the annual meeting, and yes, I am aware of the events taking place in the country and the world right now. And yes, I'm also aware that over 2/3 of those who are now attending UUCF were not here when our mission was adopted about 20 years ago. With that said, I have worked with nonprofit boards and UU congregations on mission statements for a long time, and I will tell you that I love our mission statement as much now as I did when I read it for the first time around 10 years ago. Our mission statement is simple, it is straightforward, and in my opinion, it is actually more important now than any time in our history. So as a reminder for those of you who haven't seen it or haven't committed it to memory, it says to transform ourselves, our community, and our world through acts of love and justice. On this annual meeting day, I actually want to remind all of you, all of us in this congregation, based on the agreements that we have made with each other, or as we would call it in Unitarian Universalism, our covenant with one another, the purpose of this congregation, our efforts, our leadership's efforts, our board meetings, our lay ministry, this annual meeting, our worship services, my ministry, our family ministry and religious exploration program, our Soul Matters groups, our music, arts, and social justice activities, and everything else we do that I have not mentioned is to serve the mission. It is to transform ourselves, our community, and our world through acts of love and justice. It is really that simple, and of course, nothing is that simple because we are humans, and we occasionally like to make things complex. The original purpose of the service and sermon today was to announce that in this coming congregational year, our theme will be Living the Mission, which will include a Living the Mission congregational process where we will explore what it means to live the mission now, in these times, with these people, in this culture and societal issues, and this understanding of Unitarian Universalism we are facing now, not 20 years ago, but now in 2024. It is my hope and the hope of the congregational lay leadership that in this process, we will inform a new understanding of our strategic direction, as well as how it will inform our soon-to-be organized first full capital campaign in over a decade. Now, the reason I say this was because the original purpose is, while it's still true, everything I just said, the original purpose is that we are in a certain place in this country. And between sermons, I often process my thoughts through sharing them on Facebook, for those of you who are my Facebook friends. And on Thursday, after the verdict was read, I wrote this. When this day started, I didn't realize how consequential it would be. As temporarily happy I am about something finally, in some way, holding him accountable for his copious lies and crimes, I continue to worry for where we are in this country. This country so flawed and yet so full of promise. This country fearful of other and yet beckoning the tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. This country so threatened by autocrats and demagogues and yet able to find the will through the horror of war with so many sacrifices of a generation to fight fascist impulses in the world. This country never living up to its ideals and yet so imperfectly striving for those ideals in order to form at least a little more of a perfect union. I don't know another way for us to save this country other than to the best of our abilities. Try to live up to our ideals, I wrote, not giving up when faced with all the imperfections, broken promises, and threats. And then I wrote, today was an incredible moment in our history. It won't be the last. And I keep hoping that when we say incredible moment again, it will be because we have collectively risen to meet the challenges as we strive to fulfill the unfulfilled promises of this nation. It would be foolish and grandiose to think that we alone can transform our community and the world through acts of love and justice. But that is not what I think the mission statement is calling us to. Our mission statement is an aspiration. Our mission statement starts with what really is an aspiration actually behind the wording of the statement, asking us to actively practice the principles and values of the Unitarian Universalist tradition, placing love at the center of all we do. Placing love at the center for ourselves would be hard enough, but then trying to have it apply to our community and the world, well, that's asking a lot. And frankly, yes, it is asking a lot. And I can't believe in good conscience that we really, any of us, can pass on this. We are called upon, as young and as old as we are, whatever stage in life we are, whatever work we've done to transform ourselves, our community, and our world before today, to live this faith and this mission statement as much and as passionately as possible. We must do that now. There have been plenty of times in our collective history where the mission would have been a vital call to faith. But in this moment, when a major party of the United States political system is attacking the rule of law and telling blatant falsehoods about the sanctity of the democratic process at the heart of our republic, I really do think that this is a unique and dangerous time, and this calling is as important as ever. This is not a megachurch, but we are no small group of people either. There are hundreds of us in this congregation, including our children. We fan out into all kinds of places, jobs with the government, defense contractors, teachers, social workers, and doctors. We have writers, those who work in the home, and those who work in or near the White House. And if we're looking to live this faith and this mission statement as much and as passionately as possible, whether it be how we live our individual lives or how we work to transform our community and our world, I would say that now is a pretty damn good time to do it. When I heard the verdict read on Thursday, my wife and I were standing in the middle of Whole Foods on our phones, and we just held each other. Frankly, I was overcome with emotion. In part, that emotion stems from the fact that on most days, I just can't still believe that in 2024, we find ourselves in this situation, both this country and around the world, with such needless and senseless violence that we still experience. I wonder how and when we will ever come to our senses and know that the only way for us to live together on this planet is to not try and get rid of those who think differently than we do. The history of humanity has taught us this lesson again and again and again, which is why movements for positive change almost always stress our common humanity and call for transformations centered in actions of love and justice. This congregation's mission isn't some trivial word salad designed by a group of overwhelmed volunteers trying to check off their tasks and get home for dinner. Whether in this annual meeting at our General Assembly, in the greater community, or as much as possible in the world in which we all touch, these words are a reflection of the core of a faith that has been transforming for centuries, a faith that cares about supporting heaven here on earth, a faith that has love at the center and preaches hope, not hell. That is who we've been. That is why the world so badly needs us and these statements. And that is where I'm asking us to go. Boldly, passionately, emergently, and resolutely into our future together, wherever that may lead. May that be so, and amen.